And the investigation continues into an early morning fire on the Veterans Memorial Bridge in Mankato. Fire crews were called shortly before 2 this morning for a fire on the Veterans Bridge over the Minnesota River between Mankato and North Mankato. The bridge has been closed to both vehicle and pedestrian traffic since the beginning of February for construction. No word yet as to what started the fire. The Minnesota Department of Transportation wants to remind everyone the bridge is closed to all vehicle and pedestrian traffic during the construction project.